how many young people think that they should be in a nice car, the nice house, all by the age of 25, all by the age of 30. I want to talk to you basically about young people, all right? And I'm not a TikTok connoisseur. Okay, I don't actually go watch videos on TikTok. Like I go and I sit and I watch TikTok. I watch TikTok through YouTube. All right. And again, it's always interesting because I don't want to have to go find the TikTok stuff because I'm gonna tell you guys, let me tell you guys, I like I said, I can click on 10 TikTok videos and want to just watch one. So I really just don't hang out on TikTok. But I watch enough YouTube channels that focus on TikTok. And one I know for a fact, one of the big things that's trending right now, we of course know that rent is absolutely expensive. It is ridiculous. I'm really feeling for young people that are trying to rent and they're trying to do it on minimum wage because I think the statistics in the United States, don't quote me, but I think I'm pretty accurate. There's like one or two counties, not states, counties. There's like one or two counties in the entire country right now. Yes, and I'm not exaggerating, okay? It's not even states where you could work a minimum wage job and get a two-bedroom apartment. In essence, there's no place. A lot of the TikTok videos have talked about, young people going, they don't want to have roommates. And I watched one TikToker, and I'm adjusting a piece of paper down here. I know she's not the only one. Sorry for the crackling paper sound. Okay, it's going to take just a second here. And she was basically talking about, and her near exact words were, we should not have to have roommates. We should be able to, go to school, go to college, get our own apartment, yada, yada. Here is the problem. Much like how the millennials were told, go to college, you're going to get this awesome paying job and all your life problems will be solved. That's not necessarily the case, as the millennials know. But now what's happening is the millennials and maybe Gen X I'm Gen X. We just observe everything. Okay. We're not overly TikTok-y and all of that stuff. We observe, seems like what goes on, with the boomers, and then we observe the millennials. We watch like a hawk. Okay. And then of course you got the Gen Z. So if the millennials were told by the Gen X and the boomers, okay, hey, go to college, it's going to solve, your financial problems. Well, I think Gen Z, okay, the generation after the millennials, they're basically being told, hey, when you hit 21, 22, or when you go to college and you graduate, you're going to be able to get your own apartment, get a house. Now, here's the interesting thing. I understand the economy is really bad. I understand how, people are having to get the same type of reward. 80s and 90s, okay? 20s. I did not have a lot of 20-year-old friends that own houses. I just didn't. And I think that's something that we sometimes forget about. And I'm talking about in my 20s and 30s, I'm talking the crowd that I hung out with, the professional crowd, okay? These are people who worked at newspapers, they worked at radio. And we're talking in the 90s and stuff, all right? I didn't have a whole lot of friends that, if they were single, okay? And I'm not talking, in other words, they weren't married. I don't care if you shack up or whatnot. That's not what I'm talking or judging about. But married couples, okay. The only people I really knew in my 20s and 30s that owned a home, they were married. Again, this isn't for. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. And I think, and I recognize that there is a lot of economic woe going on right now. I understand the houses, you're starting at $1 million if you're in California. If you're in Tampa, $500,000 if you even want to put in a dime into the pot. Okay. I understand this, but let's take that and let's put that aside just for a minute. I did not know people, and again, I'm 57. I did not know people in their 20s and 30s that were single that own homes. Not saying it didn't exist, not saying it, wasn't around, but it wasn't around my social group. And I think part of the reason people think that, we got a lot of Gen Zs that think, oh, gee, I should own a home. I should own a home. It's because that's what you see on TikTok. That's what you see even on YouTube. So what starts to happen is, instead of just looking at your immediate circle of friends, like a lot of us, I'm going to say Gen Xers, okay, were raised with, you think everybody at 25 owns a house. You think everybody by 25, 30, they're married, they got the two kids, they got the big dog, the little dog, the white picket fence, and life is good. But I think we forget, for a lot of young people, that's what you're being fed on social media. If I line you up, and I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little hoarse. I teach middle school. So sometimes my voice goes a little bit, okay? So I do apologize. If if you go to social media and you pick, let's just say any subject, it doesn't matter what the subject is, okay? Um, Dogs that bite. Well, if I feed you enough information that all dogs bite, can they bite? Sure. Will they bite? Sure. Do all dogs bite? No. You're going to come to believe, though, that every single dog you come across bites, because that's all you feed yourself with. I really think, if I look back, and in my 20s and 30s, I do know a professional, what was it? She was a professional writer. She worked for the newspaper. I won't say her name. I remember her name very well, but I'm talking, she was professional. She was considered up there in salary. Okay. Probably talking back then, she was probably making, 30,000 a year, which is, what's that, like, 60,000 a year a day. But the bottom line is, the few single people that I knew owned houses, they were in very professional positions. They were in positions like I was in, customer service, at the newspaper. All right. Again, I recognize that it's harder to get a house than it's ever been. I recognize that there's a cost and price difference. I recognize that there is inflation. But I also have to look and go, how many young people think that they should be in a nice car, the nice house, all by the age of 25? All by the age of 30. Princess Diana, okay, the late Princess Diana of Wales, she had roommates. Yes, the princess, the late Diana princess. I don't expect that, everybody will know who she is, but if you are my age, you definitely most likely know who she is. She had roommates. So I was listening to this TikToker, and I've heard this on multiple TikToks. Young people going, we should have to have a roommate. Unfortunately, I think you're going to have to change your mind frame. And I think, just like the millennials were told, go to college and you're going to get this great job and life is going to be great. Gen Z and Alpha, okay, who have been told, hey, go to college and you'll be able to get that 2-bedroom flat, no problem, all yours, whether you're renting it or buying it. I think, I look at the financial struggles I've had over the years, and I ask myself, and I did a discussion on this not too long ago, how much do you want to fight? How much do you want to struggle to try to make the rent just so you can call a place your own, just so you don't have to live with mom and dad? Because after all, you sick and tired of their rules. How much do you want to fight? If you have parents that are half decent for you to live with and you can handle staying with them for a while so you can save a bunch of money, do it. If you can take on a roommate, live in somebody's house. Actually did that in my early 20s. Okay, early to mid 20s. I lived in someone's house. Little retired lady. I kid you not. The classic. I don't think she was quite retired at the time, but she was getting near retirement. Okay, and it was just that classic. Rent a room in someone's house. I literally have done that. Okay, literally, I rented a room. This can save you tons of money, but I mean, it's hard, I'm sure, for young people, because you think, well, mom and dad had their own apartment. But in reality, I think young people are going to have to change. I think I don't like to say the new world order because that sounds so permanent. It's the new world order, but it may be somewhat of a new world order that people are going to live with roommates longer than they planned. Maybe some never had planned for it, but it's just going to wind up happening anyways, just simply to save money. It's it's something just to consider. You got so many young people trying to live alone, live in this big, trying to buy the big house. Remember that CNN story, family, I did not too long ago, that millennial couple with the baby, and he was an underwriter. She works for a nonprofit, and they're living in this house that's, nicer than two of my parents' houses put together, because my parents divorced and remarried. Okay, they had all this by the time of 30. Where did that idea come from? Where did the idea come from that you had to have your dream house and that you were supposed to be in it when you have a brand new baby to also raise? Social media. Social media is a lot of it. So it's just, something for you guys to think about. I think we need to reconsider how we live. I really, really do. I think we need to reconsider it. I think kids, if they have parents that are generous enough and the children follow the parents' rules, that's how I was raised. You're going to live under my house. You're going to follow my rules. My rules will be reasonable. Okay. But you are going to follow my rules. And yeah, kids, you may have to do that. I think perhaps for the first time, we may have to look at a little bit of Asian culture and see how they live. And it may not be as easy as, I got out of college, I'm adjusting my screens. It may not be as easy as I got out of college and I want my own place now. It's just something for you guys to think about.